confidence really is an emotion. It's an emotion that drives us. And how we generate this emotion. Now, I want to point out this emotion is important because it feeds us. It feeds the momentum of whatever it is we're after. See, if I don't have some level of confidence, and this is the thing, confidence doesn't have to be present. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Confidence does not have to be present in the area that you're challenged in, meaning you do not have to have confidence in the gym in order to bring confidence into the gym. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. You do not need to have confidence in the area that you're working towards. You just need to have confidence somewhere in your life. Because this drives you generally. So specific confidence, no matter where it's at, will drive you generally. Okay. Do you follow what I'm saying? So if I'm super confident in business, this confidence in business can drive me generally in life. Now, if I don't have confidence in any area of my life, at least I'm in a state where I don't feel like I have confidence, right? Because it's an emotional state. Confidence is an emotional state. So if I don't feel like I have the emotion or the state of confidence in any area of my life, maybe you've gone through a season of depression. That's basically like hopelessness. That's basically zero confidence. That's like confidence is at the ground bottom floor. It's like we're bottomed out, yo. We don't have confidence in any area. And therefore, no matter what area I focus on, parenting, relationships, health and fitness, business, my hobbies and talents, no matter what area I focus on, I do not have a good action. I can't take a good action because I don't have confidence anywhere. I can't draw it up. Welcome to Ignite the Spark Within, a podcast designed to do just that. Ignite your spark within you. I'm your host, Sarah Malone, owner of Spark Fitness and Lifestyle Coaching and voted Yahoo Finance's top 10 female coaches to follow in 2021. I believe everyone has a fire inside them, a powerful purpose, a story waiting to be told, and everyone can uncover and unleash this power. Every day you have the choice to either let your experiences shape you or take control and use your experiences to shape the world around you. You were made to experience happiness, freedom, joy, purpose, love, passion, and abundance. Disrupt the status quo, think for yourself, and join forces with those around you doing the same. Join me for thought-provoking conversations along with the strategies needed in order to help you ignite your spark within. So we are back for season 2 of Ignite the Spark Within. Oh my gosh, so much has happened in just one single month of being away from this show. And I'm excited to loop you guys in, but I'm even more excited for a renewed sense of inspiration and creativity and aliveness. I am coming to you. Some of you who follow me on social media know this by now, but I'm coming to you live from my RV on top of a mountain in Rimrock, Arizona. This is quite the journey, and it feels like a pleasure. It feels like kind of an adventure to share it with you all. And, a lot has changed both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually on so many different planes for me in the last 3 to 6 months that, it's taken me a while, to be honest with you, to catch up and to process and integrate everything. It's been quite the whirlwind in the most fantastic of ways, right? It's like when I said yes, in some ways I didn't know what I was saying yes to. And so some of the knowledge and wisdom that's coming to me now in this new season and a life of extreme simplicity and also a life of more connected to nature is what I want to share with you today. Before we go into that episode, first of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for riding this journey with me. Thank you for following along. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for outreach to me. Thank you for donating to this show. Thank you for sharing the show. And with that being said, I would like to invite you and please reach out to share this show continually. This show only grows when you share it and like it and rate it. And so all of the things, it's like, someone said to me the other day, healing is free. And I said, yes, but school isn't, you know? And so in order for creators to keep creating as we do in this way and to keep offering this value in a way that is unobstructed as much as possible, please share it. Please rate the show. It costs you nothing but a little click. And so please do that. Share it on social media too. And please tag me if there are any topics that come up in here and it ignites or sparks a little inspiration, or, you feel like answering a question that I asked, which by the end of this episode, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Please feel free to post that on social media and then tag me. Couple things. There is an 8-week course that I'm launching. I've been talking about this for months now. I've actually been in the process of creating it for about 2 years. So 2 years, if I've combined 3 pillars of wellness, right? It's mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. I've been working in this industry for almost 10 years now. Well, actually over 10 years now. And with all of the seminars and courses and schools that I've gone to, I've kind of developed my own hybrid program, combining some of the best of these tools. And I'm offering it in this 8-week course. It is a group course. It is not a go at your own pace, although I will be offering it later as a go at your own pace. But this specific course is going to be live. We're going through it as a group and we're completing one module each week. We will then meet weekly to go over those lessons. You'll have lifetime access to this course, the videos, the worksheets, the handouts. All of those tools are going to be available to you forever and ever. Additionally, we have the upcoming July retreat. The women's retreat, Reignite in the Red Rocks, is going to be out here on an 11-acre property in a little town right outside of Sedona called Cottonwood. So we're going to be on 11 acres together for 4 days. This one's a little bit longer. I do have more people with me this time. We've got a transformational body worker, Donna. She's brilliant work. We have a yoga instructor. My dear, dear friend, Leah Jackman, is coming. I'll be leading, and I'll also have my co-facilitator, Kelly O'Dowd, who is a graduate of the first Reignite in the Red Rocks. So we are so excited to launch this. This is a women's retreat, only women's retreat. If men, you're listening, if you are interested in a men's retreat, I've had a couple men reach out. We are toying with the idea of implementing a men's retreat because this is kind of like, we're in a time, guys, where we are like healing the feminine. And that does not mean woman. Healing the feminine also means healing the feminine within the masculine. In fact, you cannot get to the masculine without going through the feminine, because all men come through the feminine in order to be created. We are the creational vessels. And so as such, requires a healing of the divine feminine within the male. So anyways, July 20th through the 24th, women's retreat, 4-day healing and growth and reignition retreat. You can check the website for the testimonials. I don't need to say any more about that because this retreat is it. Okay. Now, on to the good stuff. So I recently, exactly 1 month ago, moved into an RV on top of a mountain on my dear friend Donna's property in Rimrock, Arizona. It's been quite the journey. I want to share with you a little bit about this life because I'm going to take you on this journey with me. First of all, it is so different. But I am so surprised and astounded with how much liberation I feel with less. The process of purging and getting rid of more of my things clothes, even like clothes, um, practical things that one thinks that they need. Getting rid of these, I can tell you, brought such a liberation, freedom, and weight that had been lifted off of my spirit. And I found myself in this interesting roller coaster, right? So, first of all, it's super dusty up here. Like, we're in the desert. I'm in an RV in the desert. This is no joke. It's very windy on top of this hill. So there are certain elements to this lifestyle that I'm still adapting to, and still getting used to, and just learning, right? Um, there's certain other functionalities that we're still working out the glitches with. But what I can tell you is it has been a roller coaster. Like when you make a choice, which this was a choice that I made, and I want to explain this choice to my listeners because this is something that's not easy to do, right? I landed in Arizona in a beautiful opportunity, a huge property with a very large house, extravagant, luxurious view, and all of these things that one would, from the outside in, say, looking like, wow, that person's really lucky. She's really blessed, to have all of these monetary, earthly, worldly things. Nice house, pool, hot tub, beautiful view, literally overlooking the red rocks, so on and so forth. Um, but the situation that I went into was a shared energy space, meaning I was with someone as well. Not a boyfriend, not anything like that. It was a person that I was partnering with to do retreats. Now, I had come out here under the understanding that there was a misalignment. I had come out here with the understanding that that was temporary because intuitively speaking, I received that information to say this is only a stepping stone, right? This is only a way to your next opening. And so having understood that, I understood that I was not to get rooted. So that was interesting process in and of itself to go and to live in a place for an undisclosed amount of time, knowing that it was temporary and would soon fall out, leaves you, kind of in a space where you want to create, you want to do these things, but you don't, it's hard to move forward with the plan, with your mission, with your own calling when this is in the back of your mind, right? More importantly, I'm highlighting this situation as to say that the choice to move then into an RV came when the realization for me became clear that my path forward requires my creative presence. It requires my compassionate presence. It requires my wisdom. It requires my intuition to be sharp. It requires me to be rested and in peace. And while I feel very proud of being able to maintain those things given the circumstances, it's not ideal. And when choices are presented that would open up a door for you, whoever you are, and this is for myself, this is not really like a boasting session. This is more so to understand the process, right? And so when a choice is presented, then where you have an option, you can stay in luxury, worldly luxury, and have to work to maintain your peace, meaning your energy is draining just to maintain peace. Or you can part with your worldly possessions, accept a perceived downgrade in worldly status, and have your peace and not have to fight for it. When I sat with that decision, I knew that the answer was clear. First of all, that's freedom. Okay. And that's actually the topic of today's podcast. One of them anyways, is freedom. But it's also self-respect, right? It's confidence in self, it's self-love. When we value ourselves, now let me just say this, the choice that I'm referring to move into the RV was actually not presented as a choice. It was a situation that finally came to a head, where I knew that I was involved in an alignment, in a relationship, in a collaborative space with people that purity wise and intention wise, the alignment wasn't there, right? We're two different aligned visions, or I should say two different visions that were not aligned. And so this this gets presented to me as not so much of a choice, but it was actually a choice at the end of the day. And so I chose my freedom. I chose to value myself and not keep myself in a position where the energetic space wasn't aligned for my highest calling, my highest good. And ultimately, it just wasn't aligned for good, period. Um, and so now I I go to Montana. I'm there for a little bit of my own retreat and growing and certification process in hypnotherapy with my classmates. That was a whole nother experience. And right when I came home, the very next day, I had one more month actually that I was supposed to be at place, the previous place, the nice place, the the rich place. And I said, I can't do it. I'm No, I can't keep my energy here, knowing what I know now. And that to me is self-love. That's self-worth. That's self-value. And it's freedom. And so I decided what better way to start this show, like in the RV, with the topic of confidence and freedom and what those truly, truly mean. And so here we are. Here we find ourselves. I have eliminated, well, on my move out here, I eliminated probably 2/3 of my things. And then the process of moving from the other home to the RV, I removed about another half of those remaining 2/3. So I was listening to my book with Dr. Wayne Dyer the other day, and he said, we were going through the Tao Te Ching, one of my favorite resources. It's one of my favorite pieces, to be honest with you. And it takes a couple of reads sometimes, but each time it's just such gold. It's such substance, it's like food, like the Bible is food. And he said, just take a look at, do with only what you need, and take a look around your room and just see what things that you need and what the things that you don't need and what you can get rid of. And I was like astounded and so proud to look around, and I was like, actually, everything in this room virtually I need. I don't really have anything that I don't need. And gosh, that weight, I have to tell you, the feeling that provides is abundance. I have learned so much about what abundance truly means, because in order to experience abundance, we actually have to go through a process of elimination, of detachment, of getting rid of shedding, in order to receive what true abundance means, which is found all around us. It's found in the living. And unfortunately, a lot of us aren't able to experience that because we're tied to things. We're tied to statuses. We're tied to titles. We're tied to homes and more than we need. And I just can't help but think, in a heaven, how I would see it is that nobody is living with more than what they need, and everybody is giving to their neighbor if they are in need. Like, this is how harmony, this is how bliss would happen. This is how heaven would happen. This is how humanity would work together. So anyways, tangent, RV learnings, right? RV wisdom. I'm sure I'll be bringing it to you each week now because each week seems to unfold and release something new to me. And it's been like a really high and then a really low and a really high and a really low. It's crazy because now that I'm figuring that out, it's like waves. So now it's up to me to be able to steady those waves and have them be a little bit more balanced until we just have these little ripples, right? So fun process. What a sage journey. So this has opened up the discussion on two topics that have, I think, many different definitions and probably many different perspectives. But those terms are confidence and freedom. So what I want to do today in today's episode is we're going to talk about both of these. We're going to talk about confidence. We're going to talk about freedom and how actually they're both related. They're very much related. We're going to talk about the worldly definition of how the world understands confidence, typically, generally. And we're going to talk about the worldly way that the world understands freedom. And then we're going to talk about the spiritual meaning of each of these and how we can expand upon our definition of confidence, our definition of freedom, in order to truly have these things. It feels so good to sit down with you guys again. So let's dive in. So it's like, what is confidence, right? So first, we're going to go into what the world knows about confidence and how it teaches us confidence is. And this may be actually a very astute version. In fact, it's very accurate in its terms, but it also is limited and it's not complete. Okay. It's not complete. So what is true confidence? Well, true confidence has nothing to do with your abilities, right? It has everything to do with your capabilities given a certain circumstance. So like, for instance, confidence, our level of confidence in certain things may differ based on our level of perceived competence in this area. And so this, in a way, for me, is not true confidence because it's situational, right? This is more like what's your level of competence can relate to our confidence. So what is confidence and how do we build it? Confidence at the end of the day is our ability to know that we will be resourceful in figuring out a problem that is at hand. We allow our confidence to become diminished when we feel like we're in a position that our best resources, internal resources, cannot come up with the answer, or at the very least, even a right action. Okay. So like in an extreme example, a low level of confidence would be, this can cause depression, by the way. Oh my gosh. So confidence is really related to happiness. If you think about this, because if I feel like I'm in a situation where I'm throwing every resource, every tool, every piece of wisdom and knowledge at this thing, and I just don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. And that it's not that I can't, it's not that I'm even trying to solve the entire problem, right? It's just that I need at least one good action. I need at least one good action to begin moving me towards a better outcome than where I am right now. I need progress. I need a trajectory. This builds confidence. And so how we build confidence is we do this thing where we do something that we're good at. Okay? We do something that we're good at, and we build this thing called confidence. Like, yeah, I'm pretty competent in this area, and I can continue to do this and get a good result. But how we really build and cultivate confidence is then taking that little smidgen of being good, being effective, and we do something challenging. We do something that seems just barely out of reach. Like it doesn't seem impossible, but it seems just barely out of reach of what we've been currently doing. And so it makes us stretch ourselves. Okay. It makes us stretch our reach. It makes us dig down and pull up an additional resource that we didn't even realize that we had. In this process, we build confidence. Now, what this confidence allows us then to do is to say, oh my gosh, I don't think I knew how to do that in the beginning. I didn't think I could do that. It's like in the gym. Let's take a very simple example. We build strength, we build confidence in the gym by grabbing a weight that is higher than what we've lifted before. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this, but I'll figure it out. I'll try. And so we do. We go after it. And somehow, some way, our body digs into somewhere that taps into this reserve that's like, I didn't know I had that. Where'd that come from? And there you have it. Confidence is being built. Okay. Confidence is built when we tap into an untapped resource or reservoir of talent, wisdom, strength, resourcefulness, compassion, whatever it may be. That's how confidence is built. Unfortunately, a lot of us like to continue to do the same things that we're really, really good at, because this, by the way, is a false level of confidence. It's a false sense of confidence. True confidence is when you are willing to stretch your neck out to do something that may seem risky in order to see what you're made of. Okay, that's true confidence. True confidence is also a state in which you do not have to prove yourself to anyone or anything. You're not out there, that would be arrogance. That would be arrogance. Arrogance would say, I've got to make myself known. I've got to make it known that I am the best in this, right? It's like, and I'm just doing this. I'm constantly striving because I have to prove something. True confidence is one in which knows, like, actually they can take a back seat. They know if they're like, Navy SEALs are really good at this. This is a great example, right? Navy SEALs they're kind of mystical. They're kind of, they lurk in the shadows in the background, but they're also, they can demolish anyone. Like they put to the test, and they do it every time, but they don't have to go out there and flaunt it. Okay. And I'm not saying that this is all Navy SEALs. I'm not even saying that this is all weightlifters, just using these as examples. Confidence really is an emotion. It's an emotion that drives us. And how we generate this emotion. Now, I want to point out this emotion is important because it feeds us. It feeds the momentum of whatever it is we're after. See, if I don't have some level of confidence, and this is the thing, confidence doesn't have to be present. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Confidence does not have to be present in the area that you're challenged in. Meaning, you do not have to have confidence in the gym in order to bring confidence into the gym. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. You do not need to have confidence in the area that you're working towards. You just need to have confidence somewhere in your life. Because this drives you generally. So specific confidence, no matter where it's at, will drive you generally. Okay. Do you follow what I'm saying? So if I'm super confident in business, this confidence in business can drive me generally in life. Now, if I don't have confidence in any area of my life, at least I'm in a state where I don't feel like I have confidence, right? Because it's an emotional state. Confidence is an emotional state. So if I don't feel like I have the emotion or the state of confidence in any area of my life, maybe you've gone through a season of depression. That's basically like hopelessness. That's basically zero confidence. That's like confidence is at the ground bottom floor. It's like we're bottomed out, yo. we don't have confidence in any area. And therefore, no matter what area I focus on, parenting, relationships, health and fitness, business, my hobbies and talents, no matter what area I focus on, I do not have a good action. I can't take a good action because I don't have confidence anywhere. I can't draw it up. I can't draw nothing out of nothing. I can't extract water from an empty glass. And so this is what I mean. But if I have confidence in just one area, if I'm like, yeah, I know I'm the boss here, then if you want to be good in something that you're not so good in, you know what you do? You go do the thing that you're really, really good in. You generate that feeling of confidence of like, boss, like, yeah, I got this. Now I know who I am, right? Confidence reminds you who you are. And confidence, like I said, is just the ability to know that you'll figure it out, that you'll use resources that you don't even know that you have. And so if you go do something that you're really, really good at, you drum up that state of confidence, and then you go try to do the thing that you feel like you're not so good at. What do you think is going to happen? Taking that state of being into the lower state of being, you're going to come up with the answer. And that's how you build that confidence in that area that you're not so good at. First of all, you can't build confidence in an area without working in that area. So eventually, a first step needs to be made. First step has to be made. And that's why this is so important, because if we know that confidence is an emotion, we know that we can generate it, right? We generate all emotion by action or inaction. Okay. Thought comes in and it generates an emotion of sadness. How do you either, you've got two options: reiterate the sadness or get out of the sadness or change the sadness. So you do something like listen to a sad song. Okay, that was an action that reiterated the sadness. Or how do you shift that state? Okay, we're going to go for a walk. We're going to call somebody that lifts us up. We're going to listen to some positive music. We're going to read something inspiring. That was an action that you took to generate a different emotion. You can do this by taking action. So confidence really is an emotional state in which you find yourself that no matter the circumstance, you believe in your ability to figure it out. This really comes down to, guys, a belief in oneself. Confidence is like, if I have a high level of confidence, that means I have a belief in myself that says it's okay. And this is what I realized, throughout this journey is I had to have a high level of confidence in myself. If I were to take this plunge out here in Arizona, if I'm going to jump out and jump off a mountain and risk it all, and then to move into an RV, like I had to have this thought in my head that said, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, because that's my level of confidence. It doesn't rely on my abilities. Okay. Because, well, I don't have the abilities to do this. I've never done it before. How can I have an ability, and how can you have an ability in something that you've never done before? No. It relies on your capabilities. Like, are you capable? Do you think you're capable of doing it? And if I thought to myself before I moved out here, no, I don't think I'm capable of doing that. Well, that could be honest. That could be honest, right? But my capabilities, I believe in my capabilities. Like, I'm capable of a lot. And you are too. You're capable of much more than you think you are. What happens when it comes to confidence? Oh my gosh. What happens when it comes to confidence is most of the time people find out what they're capable of because things are forced upon them. And if we understand the importance of confidence, then our mind shifts to saying, I want to see what I'm capable of, because every time I do that, I realize that I'm capable of much more than I thought I was. And I become more confident in my capability to do more. And this allows us to take risks. This allows us to love ourselves, to value ourselves. This emotional state of confidence equips us to take actions that generate a desired result, whatever that may be. Right? We all have some desired result. All actions generate a result. It's like, but what confidence does is it helps us to drive the result that we want. So all action, even inaction, generates a result. You can sit idly by while your dreams pass you by. The result is you live an unfulfilled life. But with your confidence, if you say, I believe in my capabilities, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to take this risk on my dream. I can't live here in mediocrity. I take that risk. And so in some ways, this confidence is really about regulating our emotions, because understanding ourselves in order to know when, this is actually an interesting point. So here we go. The paradigm here is that taking on too much new things can diminish confidence. Like if I have too many things, and actually I talk about this in the online course too. If I have too many things in my life that I'm doing that I'm not good at yet, like I'm learning them, right? Like there was a time in my life when I had too many baskets that I was nurturing. Like I only had one facet, one pillar of life that I felt extremely, extremely good on. And the other ones, I was like taking on brand new things. So everything was new to me. It was like I was learning these, and I felt like there was a level of incompetence there, right? And that was too much for me. That was harming my confidence. I was like, too many new things that I wasn't yet competent and good in. And I was consciously incompetent, right? There are layers and levels to this. I was consciously incompetent. And that's a horrible place to be, because it's painful. It's like, it's much better to be ignorant, incompetent, which there's an actual levels to that. So, I'd rather be ignorantly incompetent than consciously incompetent. But in this case, I was consciously incompetent, and it was affecting my confidence. Go figure, right? I'm like doing all these new things that I don't know how to do, and I'm really aware that I'm not good at them yet. And all of these were outweighing the confidence that I had in this one area. And so it's important to be very aware. This is basically about regulating your emotional state, regulating your emotions in order to put you into a state in which you feel maybe it's just 51% confident in life, and becoming aware of that. And if you find yourself like, whoa, 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 my confidence is down, like the way that I'm showing up is different because I don't feel confident. How can I shift this? Okay. It's just a shift of emotional state. This confidence really is the reliance on yourself to figure it out. To figure it out. You know that you'll dig it up when you really need it. And so this confidence is important because it really drives all of our actions in life, and it allows us to take risks that are good for us. It allows us to take risks in love. It allows us to take risks in mission and purpose. And without any level of confidence, or at least a significant amount of confidence, we don't feel safe, right? This is about developing safety within. Confidence is safety within. And so, like, I hear this a lot. This person makes me feel unsafe. And I have to challenge that and say, well, is it this person that makes you feel safe, or is it your inability to handle and properly deal and manage this person that makes you feel unsafe? And then if that's the case, which 99.9% of the time it is, unless you're dealing with a person who's physically harming you, which I've had too, then really we're talking about you don't feel safe in yourself. Like, I have been with people that were emotional abusers, and I used the same thing. I said that I didn't feel safe. I don't feel safe with you. And the truth is that I didn't feel safe in myself, because if I feel safe in myself, then anything that they do or say or whatever is not going to make me feel harmed, or like I'm going to be harmed emotionally, that is. And this is confidence. Confidence is safety within. Safety within is a level of confidence. If I'm confident in my being, if I'm confident in myself, then I feel safe to know that whatever you say, it's like you can't penetrate my armor of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So this is why it's so important. But let me challenge this now. I feel as though we have a general and well expanded definition, version, explanation of confidence here. And so let's take these scenarios one step into a higher dimension, shall we? Let's take this into what I call spiritual confidence, because we are spiritual beings living this human experience. And the true human experience, someone asked me this question the other day on a podcast. To live the true human experience is to live fully the different emotional states that are gifts to us in this human experience. It's to fully embody and fully experience. And in order to, oh my gosh, this is so good. In order to fully experience the human emotions and this human experience, one would say they need to have a high level of confidence, because a high level of confidence will allow you to take the risks that would provide a deep experience of human experience. I'm going to say that again because it is so important. If truly and fully living the human experience means to fully experience the different emotions and states, and, and explore and adventure and deep dive into the purpose and emotional states of human beings, then one would say that a high level of confidence is necessary in order to do that, because it will allow you to take the risks that will put you in a position to feel all of those levels of feelings. It will put you in a position to take a risk on love and fully feel love and fully feel joy. And then if something happens, to fully feel grief, to fully feel sadness. And then if something else happens, to fully feel anger, to fully feel hurt, to fully feel peace. In order to experience the full nature of all of those states of being, confidence is a requirement. It is not optional. It is a requirement. Because without a significant level of confidence, we will not take those risks that offer us those emotional experiences. You see, those emotional states are found in the pursuit of something more challenging than what we're in right now. Sometimes more challenging means getting out of grief or going through grief. Sometimes more challenging means healing. Sometimes more challenging means a divorce. Sometimes more challenging means reconciliation. Sometimes it means taking a risk on love and putting your heart out there. My point is that in order to fully have this human experience that we're all having, we need confidence. But confidence in ourself has a ceiling. Okay? I don't know about you, but I never created a mountain. I don't know about you, but I never split a sea. I know someone who has. And I know that that power came from God. And so at the core of all of this, confidence in ourself can never be enough. It's good. It's great. And actually we should have it because we were each given strengths, gifts, tools. Again, humbly, we receive that. But confidence in ourselves is still limited. Confidence in God is limitless because there is nothing impossible with him. And so this is the beautiful lesson 1 of my RV, my RV cultivation, is that confidence in myself is fleeting and can be diminished in a moment. Confidence in God is everlasting. It goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. When we know who we are, we're confident in our capabilities and things of that nature. When we know whose we are, we know who's working for us. Okay, this is huge, 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 because this is faith, right? Faith is the confidence in knowing that we have a God that has literally created the mountains and the seas, that is working on our behalf if we're his children. Okay. This is the type of confidence, I'm talking God confidence now. This is the type of confidence that will allow you to take risks that others would look at you and say, what is this girl doing? What is this girl doing? Like, but here's what's the cool thing. This level of confidence provides an opportunity for a testimony to be made. You see, if I stay comfortable and simply rely on my own confidence, then I get all the credit. Oh my gosh. I get all the credit because it's like all of those things. Well, other people have done that too. You just worked hard, which is great. And I do work hard. Awesome. I'm sure so do you. But then you get all the credit to say, oh my gosh, you're such a hard worker. You are so amazing. And this, and then just pump me full of confidence or compliments because, that's what my ego wants. And I did all that. I did all that with my own strength, with my own tools, with my own capabilities. Now, if I do something that someone's like, oh, she's never coming back from that, and somehow I'm elevated in the midst of that, that's God confidence. That's me saying, I know freaking A, I don't have the capabilities to do this. I don't have the resources to do this. I need to chalk this one up because I know there's only one person one thing that can, and that's God. I'm going to have to say, Jesus, take the wheel. And I have full faith and full confidence that you will steer this ship. That's God confidence. Those are the types of people are walking in God confidence when they take risks that seem like, what is this person thinking? Or they almost seem arrogant, right? Oh my gosh. Arrogance can be confused with faith and God confidence, right? Because here's the thing is, oh my gosh, here's the thing. That person looking from the outside in doesn't know who I'm working with. They don't know who I'm working with and I don't know who they're working with. So where I see these risks taking, like, holy crap, they got a lot of balls. Like, you must be some arrogant. So they don't know who I'm working with. I don't know who they're working with. I can perceive that as an arrogant spirit. I can say, oh my gosh, this person is so arrogant, cocky. Look at how they just like make all these moves. Look how they take all these risks and this, that, and the other thing. And people maybe look at me the same way, but you don't know who I'm working with. You don't know who I'm relying on. I'm not relying on myself. And that's actually selflessness. I'm not relying on myself. I'm relying on God because I know that in this situation, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. Not with my abilities. No, no, no. I know though, and I know this from experience, that there's always a step in front of the next step. And even if that step appears as I'm stepping down on it, it always appears. And I know that there's a philosophy I have, and this is the quote. It says, if you don't have it, you don't need it. Everything you need, you already have. And that's the truth. Because the truth is that everything that we could possibly need in order to do what we need to do at this very moment is provided for us right here, right now. God only provides what we need, nothing more, nothing less. But it's always there. And so if I have confidence in that, I trust that everything I have in this RV right here is everything I need. I trust that I have a laptop. I have my mind. I have my spirit. I have clothes, food. I can shower. I have my dog, my sweet angel dog. And I can serve people. I can serve. I have my hands. I have my hands that heal. I have a voice. I have my eyes. I can see. I can really see. I have wisdom through books. I have the Bible. These are the things that I need. And if I trust that that's being provided for, then I have confidence that this season is purposeful and it's important and it's necessary for my journey. The reason that's important is because that provides a different fertile environment in my mind. That provides an environment of hope, purpose, passion, and gratitude in my mind. This actually further develops my confidence because I say, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, God, for knowing what I needed when I didn't know what I needed. I thought I needed like all these things and this perceptive view of success that others would look at me and say, oh, look, she's living so nicely. But the truth is that how can one teach abundance? Oh my gosh. How can one, and when I say one, I'm referring to myself here. How can one teach abundance and peace and love and joy and confidence if they haven't been in states where there is chaos, where there is sadness, where there is anger, where there is lack? I couldn't have known that without being in this season. You see, confidence in ourselves is great, but it's not enough, because when we are in a state when we don't feel enough, God is. And when we have confidence in Him, we can literally jump off a mountain and trust that the parachute or the soft landing, whatever that may be, will appear on the way down or when we get there. We can trust that. That allows us to take risks that I refer to. There's a separating factor, right? There's like human risks, and then there's supernatural risk. And supernatural risk provides a journey of heavenly reward. Because heavenly reward, oh my gosh, this is so good. Heavenly reward cannot be found on this earth. It cannot be monetary, physical, tangible. Heavenly reward is the wisdom that you gain from taking supernatural risk. And you cannot take supernatural risk without God confidence. Oh, that is so good. So good. When I'm talking heavenly reward, you guys, I'm talking what I talked about earlier, is what does abundance really mean? And how do you know abundance if you haven't been in lack or in detachment? And when you're really willing in your heart space to say goodbye to things, to statuses, to money, to perceived success. How do you know joy if you haven't been brought into sadness? That's a heavenly reward. And knowing that you can be in these states with nothing is a gift that keeps on giving. That you can be in peace, even in chaos. The heavenly reward is transcending the physical situation. The heavenly reward is transcending the earthly situation. So, the self-confidence and the God confidence become married, per se, when we realize that more God confidence is needed first. In other words, if you find yourself in a state of low confidence, then seeking to generate self-confidence may be short-term and minutely effective. But seeking first to generate God confidence will not only bring you closer to those heavenly rewards and closer to God in His presence, but it will also bring you another level of self-confidence. Just the fact of humbling yourself to, humbling yourself to seek God above yourself builds confidence, because you can say, man, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for looking in the right place. I'm so confident in myself for acknowledging that I don't know. I'm so confident in myself that I did the right thing. It's like I put my ego to the side, and instead of wanting what I wanted and wanting it to be all about me, I actually cared about the outcome, which is getting me to where I want to be. And if your only option in that case, since you're not generating self-confidence, is to seek it from God, then that's something to be proud of. Now, Freedom. You guys know me. I talk. So we're already an hour in, and I haven't even discussed freedom yet. But we're going to do the same thing. And this is important to do in the same show because they go hand in hand. So I want to briefly go through what the world thinks of freedom. And then I want to talk about our spiritual freedom because these go hand in hand: freedom and confidence, confidence and freedom. So what the world understands about freedom, and I had to shift gears here. I had to stand up. So what the world understands about freedom is, I think what's happening here, especially as our quote unquote freedoms become at jeopardy, which I don't think that they are. I think our rights are at jeopardy. I think there's a miscommunication happening. I should say, let me rephrase that and say it's a misunderstanding between rights and freedom. So the world is now saying things like we must fight for our freedom, like they're taking our freedoms away. We can't let them take our freedom away. And the truth is that when we go into a spiritual meaning of freedom, right? They can't. Nobody can take your freedom away. So what we're really talking about here in a worldly sense is our rights. Like you can take rights away and privileges, but this is not the same as freedom. Fix this. So we are not at jeopardy of getting our freedom taken away. However, we are at jeopardy of getting certain rights taken away. This is different. We are confusing legitimate rights with actual freedom, and that we think that someone else has the control to our freedom, meaning in the form of rights and privileges. It is nice to be able to have guns. It is nice to be able to travel without being injected with some poison. It is nice to be able to not wear a suffocating mask when you go somewhere. It is nice to do all of these things. It has nothing to do with our freedom. And I'm going to explain why. Our freedom is the ability to do the things that we desire or that we deem would be morally right or healthy for us. And nobody has taken that away. And so when I say we are confusing rights with freedom, this is what I mean. I want to bypass a long discussion on the worldly meaning of freedom and go right into the spiritual meaning of freedom because it will create much more clarity for the purposes of today's discussion. Spiritual freedom is a state of being, similar to a state of peace, a state of confidence, a state of love, a state of joy. We've only but to enter into it. And this is not something that someone can take away from us. Okay, freedom is a state in the same way that love, abundance, and joy are all states of being. Freedom is simply something that we exercise, not fight for. Freedom is something that is available to us at any given moment, no matter what's going on, no matter what's going on in the world. And the only thing we've to do with freedom is exercise it, not fight for it, not take it, not give it. Nobody can give it. Nobody can take it away. What God has given, no man can take away. And God gave us freedom. He even gave Adam and Eve the freedom to choose in the Garden of Eden. Did he not? That was freedom. That was freedom of choice. However, okay, and here's the big however. This freedom of choice does not mean just because you're free that it's absence of consequences. And when I say consequences, I don't necessarily mean punishment. Okay. Although punishment may be present with some consequences, but freedom really is the exercising of our right to choose. This does not make us immune to the fact that our choices then have consequences. That consequence is simply a result of the choice that you've made. Okay. This consequence can be good in your eyes. This consequence can be bad in your eyes, depending on however you want to term it. But there's always a consequence, meaning there's always a result. Meaning, if I choose to carry a gun when I've been told it's against the law and something's going to happen to me, that doesn't mean that I can't carry it. I'm going to exercise my freedom and my right to carry that arm, to carry that pistol, to carry whatever gun I want. And if there are consequences, then so be it. But I choose to be free. Okay. I can be given an ultimatum. Move out or this will happen. Okay. Well, I choose to be free. So I have two options. I can stay there and accept the consequences that I was told was going to happen, or I can move out. And then the consequences of that are whatever happens on the other side of that. That's freedom. There's always going to be a a consequence, or in another way of saying this, there's always will be some level of sacrifice when exercising our freedom, right? You can't have freedom, true freedom, without some level of sacrifice. You can't. You can't. That is why it simply requires us to exercise it. And that is why so many people are so quick to say, they're taking my freedom away. We must fight for our freedom. It's like, well, how you fight for your freedom, you exercise it. But the truth is that most people don't want to accept the consequences that come with that. Listen, even Jesus went free all the way into death. His words, no man should take my life. Rather, I freely give it. I've said this time and time again. No man should take my life. Rather, I freely give it. Jesus was free all the way into his death. He chose to go to that cross. He knew what was coming. He chose to walk up to that cross because that was an exercising of his freedom. And of course, that was his purpose. And this is why most people don't exercise their freedom. They're much more quick and rather to say, well, we're getting our freedoms taken away. We must fight for it. And someone else, right? Someone else is responsible for my lack of, someone else is responsible for my lack of confidence, right? My lack of courage, my lack of gall, my lack of balls, my lack of boldness, my lack of action. And the truth is that this is how confidence and freedom tied together now. We're about to tie this all together, is that in order to exercise our freedom, we have to have confidence. And the reason we cannot rely on our self-confidence when it comes to big freedoms like this is because, truth be told, if I'm locked up, shit, I'm in trouble. I've never experienced that before. I don't think my human capacity is large enough. So if I'm going to truly exercise my freedom all the way to death, then I have got to have some God confidence. I got to be willing to be thrown in the lion's den and know I got God confidence and these lions aren't going to eat me. That's how we exercise freedom, guys. And most people don't exercise their freedom because they just do what they're told. And they think that, or they accept that, or they rationalize that they have no other option. But the truth is that there's always an option. There's always an option and there's always a consequence. The question is, are you willing to accept whatever consequence will inevitably come when you choose to exercise your freedom? Oh my gosh. Here's the question to all my freedom fighters. And there are a lot of people out there that I know are willing to do this. And so I say this with great hope, but I'm saying those of you who are fighting, quote unquote, fighting for freedom, I'm going to ask you this. Are you willing to, and what are you willing to accept in the form of consequences, meaning a result, when you truly exercise your freedom? Because let me tell you something, the world is changing. And in order to exercise these big freedoms, the freedoms that we've always had a quote unquote right to, we've had the luxury of, we've had the privilege of, we've been allowed to all of these in quotations, of course. We've been allowed to do these things without a repercussion to our actions. Now that these things are on the line, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to exercise that true freedom? Do you believe in that freedom enough? Do you believe in that freedom enough to step out in confidence and take action towards it? That is true freedom. That is true freedom. I chose to be free when I moved into the RV. Okay, here's the consequence. The consequence of me choosing to live in the RV is twofold. Number one, I chose to move into the RV, and as a consequence, I got a pure, energetic space rather than be confined to an impure or detrimental energetic space for me. That ultimately staying in that other situation would restrict my freedom. It would restrict my freedom. But I chose the consequence of less things and less extravagant living situation in order to have that pure energetic space. That's freedom. That's freedom, yo. I freed myself when I allowed myself to say, no, no, no. I'm not confining myself to a space where the energy does not align with my highest good, just because I think that people will think of it a certain way, or just because I had this plan and it was all supposed to be like this way, or whatever it could be. I chose not to confine myself to those limited human thoughts and fears and lies. And I chose to exercise my freedom and say, nope, because my vessel, my mission, my sanity, my peace, my purity are more important. I choose to cut the chains of whatever those confined thoughts are holding me back from, aka freedom, and pursue what's right for me, what is morally, healthily, and ultimately aligned with my life. That's freedom. Regardless, I wasn't stuck anywhere. I didn't have to stay there. I also didn't have to come to the RV if I didn't really want to. I could go get, I could buy a nice condo or something like that. Okay, but the thing is that I knew I wasn't stuck. I'm not pinned. I'm not, and then I don't have to be angry at anyone because I know that all of these options have always been there for me. They were always present. All of these options were ever present the whole time. There was never a moment when I was like, I'm pinned, my back's against the wall, I'm in a cage. You know what I mean? That's how I think a lot of people think right now in terms of what's happening in the world is like, oh, they got us in a cage. They're trying to pigeonhole us and lock us. It's like, no, you only see that because that's what you believe is happening, because you've literally relinquished your own freedom. Nobody can take freedom from you. You have to give them that. And even then, you still have it available. It's just a choice you have to make. Fighting for something implies that someone has taken something from you, or that they can take something from you. And since freedom is not something that can be taken or given by any person, because again, it was given by God, then we do not have to fight. And this is so empowering because you know what? Fighting is exhausting. Fighting is exhausting, and it actually doesn't feel good. Even if you're fighting for something that you value and that you have a lot of moral attachment to, and moral, like it makes sense to be fighting for that. It's a morally upright thing to do. It's exhausting. Okay. It's exhausting, and it's not our natural state. You can stay in peace and be free. We simply but to step into freedom. It's a choice. Many of the sages and the renowned teachers of the past have exercised their peace and their freedom when they were in jail or in the worst of their times. And this is why I say, these RV lessons are coming, just like downloading in, because it's like, now I get it. I get it now, because how could they have understood true freedom until they were put in a cell? Or how could they have understood true freedom, when they were, unless they were in a circumstance where they were being diminished or stripped of their ability to do certain things without major repercussion. It's like, what is freedom really then? What is freedom? If they can feel free there, then what's stopping us from feeling free? Freedom is a responsibility. It's a very large responsibility, and it requires one to, again, bringing this back together, it requires one to have a high level of God confidence. It requires one to have a high level of boldness and courage, and to be able to decide for yourself. This is called sovereignty, has a high level of sovereignty. Be able to decide for yourself what you will and will not choose for yourself. That's freedom. That's freedom. You have that available to you. It's an emotional responsibility, means you can handle the repercussions, the consequences. It's a physical responsibility, meaning you have to do something. And it's a responsibility to others, because you know what? If you give up your freedom, your neighbor might. And you're giving it up for the whole. If you hand away your freedom, you're doing that for the collective. This is more of a stance on humanity and the sovereignty and the protection of the human spirit in spirit. Confidence and freedom so related, because again, in order to step into freedom, you must have confidence. But in a time like these, our own level of self-confidence just isn't going to cut it. We have to know that there is something bigger out there that is orchestrating our deliverance. Orchestrating our deliverance, guys. This confidence in who is on your side will allow you to live freely, knowing that no man or woman can harm you or take this away. And you can freely live your life in an unworried place, because as long as you're exercising your God-given state of freedom, that He will protect and guide you, and that is what you can have confidence in. These two feed each other, like picture those magnetic balls, those pendulums, the magnetic pendulum balls. The more God confidence you have, the more action you take towards freedom. The more action you take towards freedom, the more God confidence you have. So on and so forth. Tick, tock, back and forth. More confidence, more freedom. More you act in freedom, the more confidence you have. The more confidence you have, the more you can act in freedom. This is a lesson that I am fully embodying and learning and experiencing right now. And I have to tell you, it's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to own your freedom. It's so hard to be confident when everything tells you that you shouldn't be. It's so hard to take responsibility for your integrity in yourself, maintaining the integrity of self. But it's right. It's right. And I can tell you that what's easy today will make tomorrow harder. And what's hard today will make tomorrow easier. And so what's usually easiest right now is never what's right for your life in 10 years. And while it's important to live in the present moment, it's also important to balance that, have a harmony with living in the present, and also thinking of what's better for you as a whole, not just what's better right now. So I want to leave you with, I know this is a long episode, but you know what? It's my first one of season 2. It only seems fitting. And the harmony of these two topics are so relevant to each other that I found in this season, embodying it, really, you can't have one without the other. And this beautiful flow between the two is so necessary, but you can't have one without the other. So I want to leave you with these questions, and I invite you to share your answers on social media, like make a post or tag me or send them to me in a DM or something. My Instagram handle is different now. It's Sarah_Spark Malone. So send me the answers to these questions. I'm curious. I'm very curious. So where are you deriving your confidence? You could write these down. These are the questions I'm curious that you dive into with yourself. Even if you don't share them with me, dive into them. It's very important. They're thought-provoking questions that will create some clarity for you. So where are you deriving your confidence? Where are you getting it from? And if it's from yourself, in what areas and what roles and in what ways are you getting and cultivating your confidence? How do you build and generate confidence? So those two go hand in hand. So what are you doing to build and generate your own confidence? And the third question is, are you free? And I mean, are you really free? Until next time, guys. Please rate this show, share this episode. Please tag me if you share it. And please comment on my post when I post about this podcast, your answers to these following questions, so we can generate a healthy, growing, thought-provoking discussion. Until next time, I love you all. Ignite your spark within. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Ignite the Spark Within. If this podcast brought you value, or you think it would bring someone else value, please hit that share button. My mission is to reach and help as many people as I possibly can. And you just never know who could use that one good piece of information. And hey, if you have any topics, discussion questions, or ideas for future episodes, you can reach me directly at sarah@sparkflc.com and just write podcast in the subject line. And if you haven't already, please rate the podcast on your favorite podcast channel. This helps bring awareness to the show. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you're alerted for all future episodes. Please go ahead and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested in pursuing coaching for yourself, you can visit sparkflc.com for more information.